Hey, welcome everybody to another episode of Wednesday Wisdom. We are so excited to get this segment going. We didn't even do our commercial intros. You have those to look forward to at the end of the show. Um, we have somebody who I like to call a friend of the show. We're going out to California and we're going to be visiting with Joanna Butcher. Regular listeners will recognize that name. We had Joanna on as a guest a while back. If you didn't listen to her interview, go back and take a look at it, take a listen in our archives. You can also take a look at it on our YouTube channel. She's also part of our Wednesday Wisdom team, and she's back in that capacity today. Joanna, welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you so much for welcoming me back and letting me join you. I appreciate it.
Okay.
It's fun.
For our listeners, Joanna is a certified athletic administrator. She's the director of athletics at Milpitas High School. Again, that's out in California. Does a great job with her student athletes. I'm not going to say she's active on social media, but when she does post on social media, it's always something really cool that she's done with her students. And that's what I've asked her to kind of share some today. So, Joanna, I'm just going to say, what do you have for our listeners this time on Wednesday Wisdom?
Well, being a female athletic director and a female athlete, this topic is very close to my heart. And with the growth of National Girls and Women in Sports Day, I've been trying to do little things along the way. And I was inspired after the Olympics and just wanted something more. And so this past school year, in that first week of February, we put on a luncheon at school. And what we did is we hosted our first National Girls and Women in Sports Day luncheon, and we invited all of the senior female athletes on campus to attend. We also, it was about 56 girls, and we had 53 show up. So I was like, yes. For that one, we partnered with our athletic booster club, and our athletic booster club, they provided all of the food. We encouraged some of our younger athletes to be our helpers for our decorations and our food service. So we were getting some other female athletes involved on that one. We invited our city dignitaries, and what was really cool for part of this is we have a female mayor in Milpitas, and she is the first female mayor ever. And so she was really excited that she wanted to be able to speak. Go ahead.
No, I was just going,
Oh,
wow, that's pretty cool.
okay. And then we invited, of course, our school board members, and we had a couple of them attended. And then, of course, you invite your admin from the school, and they kind of ducked in and out. We were actually across the street at our extension because we have a partnership with one of the junior colleges that's across the street. So we were doing it there. They have a little bit bigger space. And one of the things that I wanted, or I was hoping to do, was to recognize and thank the athletes for putting in all their time and just recognize everything that they've been part of, and allow them to have some conversations about what was fun, some of the memories they had, and remind them about what it's going to be going out in the workplace and how athletics is actually going to help them be stronger as they may take that next step, whether it be the workforce, whether it be going on to a JC, whether it going to the university level, wherever they choose to go, that knowing that being part of a team in athletics is going to be a stepping stone for them. And when I was talking with some of the senior girls, and I said, we're going to have food, obviously, and I want to take pictures, and, we'll have the little, selfie wall type of thing where they can go and take photos. What are some other things? I said, I would like to bring back an alumni who has played high school sports, played collegiate sports, and, has started her own business, done something where she can talk about her experience. And it's always good to hear from somebody else to bring them in. And I said, I'd like to have a student speaker as well. What do you think? And so they were all excited. They thought that was a great idea. You always have a few pains the first year, but and that was just a time. We didn't have our timing down 100%. But it was great because we started off right away with the food, allowed them to chit chat. Some of the underclassmen had made discussion cards and had put them on the tables along with the decorations. We had decorations of different athletes from the year that we had taken pictures and made collages and put up on the wall. And then with our guest speaker, who was she was an '07 graduate from Milpitas High. She played, and she was a championship. We won a section championship in basketball. So she was on my team then. She played collegiately at Fresno State, and then she moved to East Bay, coming back home because it was a little bit better fit in regards to proximity to her family. And then because she redshirted, she was able to play another year in LA. And then she has started a business, and she's been on the Today Show and all sorts of things. And so it was really fun to think about, okay, you guys can Google her if you want to and look up all the things that she's done. And she brought her entire family. And I opened this and talked to the girls a little bit about, I remind them of statistics and top executives and all of that stuff that, they don't necessarily want to hear, but it's a good affirmation. And then had some fun and tried to make them laugh and, ask some questions kind of thing along the way. Our mayor wanted to speak a little bit, and we weren't going to say no to that. She actually gave our keynote speaker, the keys to the city. It was really cute at that event. It was really fun. And then we had a student speaker and talked about how athletics have played such a vital role in her life and have given her confidence and have instilled certain values and the idea of teamwork. And she's a badminton player. So the idea that she's an individual at she's in an individual sport in a team world, and how do you mesh those two things together, and just talking about the values that she learned and how it was able to transfer over into her schoolwork. And then we had Jit Atwell speak with everybody for the keynote. And it was a great experience. We wrapped it up. We crammed it into, I think it was an hour on that one. And had a photographer there. I had one of my other students who was filming it and making some video clips from it. And I don't know. I felt like it was a really good feel good and recognition and thank you. And so it was a great start, I say, on that one, because in the past we've done, prior to the games, we focused on the winter season, where it was, the winter athletes, or we start off with the t-shirts, and then we moved to all the female athletes could get the t-shirt and wear that, wear it on that, wear it on that Wednesday in February. And then it was looking at trying to get staff who wanted to maybe buy the t-shirts as well, and try and get female officials to come in that week. But it was just such a week focused event type of thing that I felt it really just hit the winter athletes, that I really wanted it to be kind of all encompassing for the year. And that's why we picked the seniors first, thinking that that was easier to look at and kind of highlight and thank them for their involvement, rather than trying to have a 9 through 12 event on that one for lunch. I just was like, what's manageable? What can we do? You never know that we can grow to dinner. A couple of the girls were like, can we do a dinner? And it was like, maybe that's a growth thing, but I think it's one of those, it'll take several years to kind of get past the idea of a lunch during the day, when you can, what can they miss and not miss, and that type of thing. So, but that's the basics of it. I was excited. I had fun with it, and it was smooth this year. So I'm thankful for that as well. And I'm thankful really for the support of our athletic boosters, because they stepped in, and they were able to promote their scholarship, and they were to be able, they had sign-ins, and they did name tags for us, and they provided the food and organized all that aspect. And so that was, it was good to see the girls could see that the boosters were there supporting them, and in where they normally only see the booster club maybe visibly at concessions for like the key sports. And so I think it's a good reminder that all athletes were being supported by the booster club.
Well, again, great event. Congratulations on a successful, debut. I was thinking, I'm just going to throw some names out. I know Meg Singh in Michigan has done something. I think hers is an entire like 2-week camp in the summer. She's done that for years. Missy Smith in Oregon has done one, I think, the last few years in Oregon. But then Molly Tomlinson in Indiana, she just did the very same thing for the very first time this year. And now you out in California, you're absolutely right. It's something that needs to be done. I'm going to guess there was probably a tie-in of some kind historically with Title IX, and 50 years and more of Title IX. and you outlined, I think, a lot of the key steps in getting going. Looking back now with some perspective, it's been a couple of months. Um, what are some things that just really stick out for you as key organizational steps? Boy, I'm really glad we did this in the planning and looking ahead. What's something that you are saying, boy, we really should have done this, and we're going to do it for next year for the second show? Can you share those thoughts with our listeners?
Well, I think that with the timing, because we put out, in my experience, I was an activities director before I became an athletic director. And so I've got that under my belt for putting things on. And so we had the invitations, we had the RSVPs, and so all of that, it was a matter of timing. But what I would like to see is I think it could be a little bit more interactive in the beginning and, uh, having them come together, because you did notice that certain athletes grouped together by their teams, and so you had grouped together with soccer season, so we had a group that was trying to figure out how they could move two tables together so that the soccer most of the girls from the soccer team could be together. And so I think it's maybe thinking about, I don't want to force them where to sit, but it is a thought process of saying, are they going to mingle more if you give them, if you assign them a table, and then maybe you give them some topics that are fun topics, like the simple ones, like what are you going to miss most? Like, you guys are graduating. What are your thoughts for next year? And I think that um if you're putting on an event, maybe, can you have it a little bit more so that the day is actually streamlined and focused towards the why you're putting it on in the first place, rather than just letting them. I was just so happy that they were all coming, and I wanted them to just talk at will and take photos, that I didn't want to direct anything. But I think I would like to see a little bit of, because I think you'd learn more. Um, Jean Ashen, who
Yep.
she is for years at North Salinas. She did a dinner, and so what she did was different, that I would love to see happen, but it's hard to do during the day, is each of the senior female athletes were partnered up with a staff member, and the staff members sponsored them. And so there was a little bit more of that mix of the students and the staff coming together. And that's an interesting twist. And just thinking about maybe how I can get some of maybe some of the staff members who they didn't know, because I had pictures up of one of our social studies teachers. She played field hockey in college, and everybody was like staring at her photo because they had no idea. And so I think a little bit maybe more of that, creating awareness and maybe highlighting and maybe even recognizing and bringing up, making there could be a little bit of an award, because we did have the student speaker, I spoke, keynote, the mayor. So there's a lot of speaking at. So I'd like to maybe need to think about how to make it a little bit more interactive, and maybe even, award some things or highlight. So it's a matter of working with some other people and saying, oh, what do you do? And then beg, borrow, and steal.
No, but I love the idea of getting the faculty involved, and you're absolutely right. Students, they look at their English teacher, their chemistry teacher, whatever, and they think that that is their life. Forget about a past. And so what a great idea of making those connections. That's what we talk about in sports, is making those connections. Um, if one of our listeners, we're not done yet, but I want to make sure we get this out. If one of our listeners wanted to, find out more about the planning process, or just maybe even just connect with you, and listeners, you have a tremendous resource here in Joanna Butcher. I'm trying to get her email to blow up. What's the best way that they can get a hold of you and find out more?
So my email is my first initial last name. So my name is Joanna Butcher. And so it is J Butcher, JBUTCHER at MUSD.org. I can never remember how to do the, Delta, whatever, etc. for that one. And you're more than welcome to email me. I have an actual checklist and a timeline, because that's what I need to do in order to work, to make sure that I have everything done on that day. And that's all I'm always willing to share. I love sharing out with people and then actually having them say, oh, I tweaked it and this is what I did. And you're like, oh, I never even thought of that. That's a great idea to be able to bring things into your event.
Well, Thanks so much for sharing. I'm going to go ahead and piggyback on that, not so much for your event, but just talking about resources. There's another podcast. I know people are shocked when they hear that. Another podcast. There's another podcast out there, and it's called the Title IX Time Machine, looking back, moving forward. Jan Murphy is the host and comes out about once a week. She's had Gene Ashen on, she's had Meg Sing, all these people I just mentioned. She interviews women, many from the Title IX experience in the early 70s and beyond, that share their experiences, high school, college athletes. Most of them have gone into coaching, but also not just their experience when they were athletes, but their experience as women, in the profession. Joanna, you can certainly attest to that. But add that to your listening list, the Title IX Time Machine. Joanna, always great to catch up with you. Hopefully we're going to see you, worst case, we'll see you down here in Tampa for the national conference, and all the best with your coaches, teams, and kids as you wrap up the spring sports season.
Ugh, I know. A lot going on with the spring.
Okay. Just working on those rainouts. You guys get rain out there in California?
We do actually. March is pretty bad. So
Okay. Yeah, that's the life of an AD is in Florida and many other places. It's rainouts and reschedules. That's what you work on.
yeah, my
Okay.
baseball coach was always amazed. He's like, "How did you determine that the weather was going to shift?" I'm like, "A lot of practice staring at those weather patterns."
Okay. Since you brought up baseball, I'm going to ask you a question. I know we're totally in the weeds here. Do
Okay,
you do you know what a quality at bat is?
the quality at bat.
A quality at bat.
So we always, my dad used to define it as when you're making the pitcher work for beyond the beyond the scope of it.
All right, I'm totally crushed. I tell the story. I had parents come in. They wanted to complain about, guess what? Playing time. Um,
Right.
and again, long story short, great kid. It's week 2 of the baseball season. The conversation's in that doom loop. We're not making any progress. And finally, I just kind of pull up Max Preps and okay, what's the kid's batting average? It's like, buck 92 or something.
Hey, but no, below the Mendoza line.
And I mentioned, well, he's only batting 192, and without missing a beat, the dad goes, but he leads the team in quality at bats. I had no idea what a quality at bat was, and so I just finished the conversation. I know they were headed to my head of school's office immediately, so I called him and gave him an alert. My next call was to my baseball coach. What the heck is a quality at bat? And he told me, making the pitcher work, hitting line drives, making contact. And I'm just thinking, as a good track guy, hey, you lined out to the shortstop. You're out. Sit down. Quit crying. But that's my quality at bat experience. I appreciate you, stepping up and knowing what a quality at bat was. Okay. All right. Joanna Butcher, Milpitas High School, Wednesday Wisdom regular. Thanks so much for sharing with our audience, and we'll look forward to the next time we have you on the show.
Great. Thank you. I appreciate you having me on the show.
Oh, absolutely. For our listeners, we upload everything to the Educational AD podcast. Um, Hopefully, you'll join us for the next episode of Wednesday Wisdom on the Educational AD. We'll see you next time. Before we go, again, I want to apologize to my sponsors. We didn't get the opening segment done, but let's do it here on the back end. If you're new to the show, our sponsors are all companies that I used as an athletic director, and they are all great companies. Yes, they're sponsors, but they're only sponsors because I use them and I trust them, and I highly recommend that you check them out. Gipper, they can turn you into a social media marketing guru. Go to Gipper.com, find out how. Vital Signs Wall of Fame. Take a look at their interactive touchscreen video consoles. It's a great way to showcase your school's record boards for all the sports or your school's Hall of Fame. That's Vital Signs Wall of Fame. Snap Raise. We used Snap Raise as a fundraiser at our school with great success. Go to snapraise.com for more information. Huddle. I used Huddle as a football coach. As a school, we were a Huddle school. Go to huddle.com to find out more. Athletic surveys. At our school, we use surveys for just about everything, kids, coaches, and parents. And athletic surveys will create a custom survey that lets you take the pulse of everybody in your program. It's athleticsurveys.com. Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. Probably the best purchase I ever made as an AD was our Sideline Interactive indoor score table. Go to sidelineinteractive.com for more information. Home Campus. I like to say Home Campus is a platform you're going to use every single day, and it's true. It's the official platform, information platform for the Florida High School Athletic Association, but you can use it in your state at your school. Their athletic eligibility and clearance platform alone is the gold standard. That's homecampus.com. Ohio University. I didn't get my master's through the Ohio program, but my assistant athletic director did, along with thousands of others. Check out the Ohio University Online Masters. And Hometown. It's not just digital ticketing, but they still have it. Go to hometown.com for more information. Thanks again for listening. We'll see you next time on the Educational AD Podcast.